it's so smart, it's so elevated, and yet he still, as a writer, has this way of keeping things, gritty and real and grounded. I mean, that's the idea, really. Is where is Nick going? Where's Donnie going? Can they trust each other? There's this real Butch Cassidy and Sundance element, except maybe it's even more than that, because at the same time, one is still a cop and one's a villain, and who is ultimately going to screw over the other one, or not? You never quite know which way it's going to go, and that's a fascinating thing to play, and that's the thing that I was saying is very tricky, because we're not just dealing with the technicalities of this story. We're also talking about these two characters who are starting to bond surprisingly.
Watch our 6.
Mac. Drive your ship, call out Briggs.
Copy. And the cop goes gangster.
I couldn't speak more highly about this island and its people and the crew and their work ethic. This island is one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been, and it just took me by surprise. Even just as a visitor to see what this island has, but then to use it cinematically and all that scope. And it is actually, because there's a lot of different influences in Tenerife, that it can double for a lot of different places. I mean, basically Tenerife here has been Heathrow, it's been airports, it's been Marseille, it's been Nice. I'm thinking, we're missing other places, but I'm constantly like, oh my God, now we're here, but we're still just in Tenerife. O'Shea is my hero. There's nobody like O'Shea Jackson. There really isn't, in terms of his mind, where that mind goes. You're just constantly like, because sometimes he says that to me, dude, what do you want? Like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, and that's coming from O'Shea Jackson, who has these streams of, he's a genius. He's like a savant, he's so intelligent and unusual in his thought process. It's funny because he's obviously the son of a notorious, hip hop artist who has a badass reputation, and yet you couldn't meet a better brought up kid. He's just the biggest heart, so nice with everybody. This movie, I didn't really slap him around so much, so we had more of a chance to talk and hang out and spend time together. And even we both rented villas. It's a big island, but we rented villas right next door to each other, and we had some great heart-to-hearts, And then as an actor, he's so talented, and it's effortless. I know Christian as a director, he leads such a, we make these movies, especially in the Den movies, we try to do so much, get so much in. So there's a lot going on, and yet the energy is always really great, because Christian's not a guy that loses his temper. He loves his actors. He gets stressed out, as does everybody, but not with other people. He just gets stressed because he wants the day to be, us to get through everything. He wants everything he has in that script in there. But that that trickles down through everybody, and for me as well as the lead actor, I always try and be nice with everybody. So when you got me and Christian and then O'Shea, when that's your 3 guys on set, it's really, it helps create a nice, fun atmosphere, and also letting people know that their work is appreciated, and we know how hard they are working to get this done. This was a tricky one because there was so much maneuvering of guns inside a Porsche, which, much as it's a beautiful car, it wasn't designed for full-length guns, reloading. And then the tricky thing in this was a lot of the time we were firing backwards, so it was tricky. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, scary. The stuff, it's a huge car chase sequence. It's fantastic. And there's various cars involved and swinging around each other, and guys jumping out, firing, jumping back in, reloading, firing, getting hit, almost getting hit, hitting them hitting us, things smashing up the whole time, so you're constantly being covered in glass and bits of metal or bullets. It was full on. This movie really brings the whole gambit of both what is super joyous and what is super tough and what is everything in between. And I think that I had a blast doing the action stuff, but a lot of that was just really like hot and sweaty. And what we were doing, a lot of those times, guerrilla filmmaking, that's my favorite. When you don't have a chance to think, you just go and you're filming fast and you're getting everybody's truthful reactions. I loved that, except for, I say, the struggle it was in this heat. I think that in this movie, and because what this movie does bring is a lot of fun action. It's really a kind of thinking man's heist movie. It's like I say, it's very savvy, and elevated kind of writing. But it also brings a lot of personality. And so I would say that I think that the performance-based scenes of just guys getting to know each other, they were great. And that's what I'm excited about for this movie, because it works on, or it offers a lot of color and ticks a lot of boxes in terms of a movie with drama, that's a thriller, that's a comedy, that's action, and that's as I say, very, very kind of smart and involved and specific and how it explains how this world works. I think that the first movie, it kind of had a heat flavor, but maybe at times even more kind of socially, economically involved, that kind of, I love that part of it, but it definitely had a heavier element. And I think that this movie is like, okay, we served our time there. Now let's take this and have fun. And as I say, let's go to that Butch Cassidy and Sundance element, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid element, but let's take it to Europe and let's see, what if Nick did catch up with Donnie? Donnie thinks he's screwed, but then Nick goes, it's not what you think, And then the whole movie opens up into something else. The two of these guys actually in cahoots with a whole new gang themselves who are fascinating in their own right. So it has a kind of a sexier, cool European vibe to it. And like I said, it's like if the first Dan took a holiday and had a pina colada, but not belying its roots of gritty, and it stays grounded and real, even in all the action. It just feels very authentic, right? So it's a very specific tone that it has to it, and yet it has the ability to kind of have fun with it as well, and characters that I think you can really get involved with and grow to kind of have fun with and care about. A story that's fascinating and gets more and more exciting as the time goes on, and the twists and turns, which has become, I think, a hallmark of, hopefully will continue to be a hallmark of the Den of Thieves franchise.